I think we just need to adjust our strategy. We don't really have a way... I don't really have a way to beat this. Plan, do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just... go through it and hope we can make this work. If we had, like, anything water type leveled up, we'd probably be in much better shape. Yeah, putting the Zambird out first to deal with the spider is probably the best idea. We could chunk down the spider right away. And we avoided the fact that we're not going to get nailed with with poisons. We avoided the poison this time at least. Okay, let's set up as much accuracy down on the cow as we can, so we can afford to switch into Essence and not have Essence get one shot by this thing. The battle to set, not shift. Yeah, I like the harder difficulty, the having to adapt to not knowing what's getting sent out next, so you can switch in before it comes out. So I know that's making it intentionally harder. I know exactly what I'm doing with that. I even do that in normal Pokemon games. I just prefer it. So yeah, no, that's definitely that's a known. That's a known thing I've done there. The very lucky freeze. The very, very lucky freeze. The fact that the ham members are ground type and we picked the Zambird as our starter really sucks. A lot of the game I just realized is gonna be a lot harder. Let's see if we can do anything to the pig. We did get a snow off. How lucky can we get here? Not lucky enough. Time to grind that fishing skill. I mean, we may have to go back and level up some water types here. We may have to do some grinding. Alright, yep, rock. Minimize. We immediately got hit. So really, the minimize is really good, but I would vastly prefer to have iron defense. Iron defense on Yep Rock would be a lot better, because then we could actually prevent ourselves from dying. All right, yeah, you gotta get the 5 hits. We gotta get max hits on bullet seeds here. Max hits of bullet seeds will carry us through the victory here. It like only wants to use revenge. So it's always going second, which is... Oh, we got him. We got him. Guardian's level 22. Trying to learn Psycho Shift. What is that? Transfers status problems to the foe. That could be really cool. We'll get rid of Thunderwave for that. That could be really cool, actually. Okay, Patty doesn't fuck around. Patty fucked her shit up. Why do you even want the map piece? Because you want it? Fine, take it. We got map piece number 1, so that is the first piece of the map to Crandor. You may have won this time, but you cannot stop the grand ambitions of Ham. We fight against the scourge that is monsters. Fight us and you fight against people. Like I said, really stupid racist people. We're heading out. Plan A is ruined. We're going with Plan B. Babe will fix things in the maze. Meanwhile, we head for Musa Point on Karamja. Don't meddle with us again if you know what's good for you. We serve the populace of Gielinor by ridding it of monsters. Opposing us means opposing the natural order. Thank you for assisting us in repelling Ham. They've been very organized as of late. I'm not sure what they're after. But here, take this for helping us out. We got Scroll 62. Come on, Goblin, back to your cell. Me think me nose is broken. You're a RuneScape veteran? I've been playing RuneScape for almost 19 years, so yes. That answer is yes. Oh, he gave us defog, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely not like, oh, I started playing RuneScape when old school RuneScape came out. Nope, I've been playing RuneScape since the construction skill came out. I think the construction skill was the first major update when I started playing the game. Should go visit Remington to the east. They throw the best house parties. Piracy is bad. What's that? This game is technically piracy? I don't know how to reply to this. This lighthouse also acts as the jail. That way we can both guard both at the same time. Melzar. Melzar. Why does that name ring a bell? Oh, sorry. I overheard some of the Ham members talking about a guy named Melzar. I was on 2004-ish. You're a little earlier than I am. Man, I cannot believe those Ham guys left me here to rot. I'm never working with them again. Psst. Help me sneak out of here, yeah? I promise I won't rob you when we get outside. Me nose hurts. I've heard some Ham members mentioning something about a maze near Remington. Hopefully they aren't planning anything. Skeleton says nothing. Nothing interesting happens. Contacted the custom officers over at Remington just in case Ham attempt to show up there. Tried to rob... Oh, this is the thief that tells you about the, like, how do you get into the jail cell? Oh, it's the wise old man. Well, Specs, I see. You have been busy, I see. These Ham people just goes about and do what they want. It's very good to see someone like you clean up their act. I'm going to the Asgarnia Ice Dungeon down south. Care to join me? I will see you there if you do. I had an account long before the first 3D update for RuneScape 2. Yeah, we know you're old, Stingray. You're the oldest head of the internet. You played games back when they were dog shit, and you liked them. Because it's all you had. You also wore an onion on your belt, as was the style at the time. I typed in elite speak, as was the style of the time. Grandpa Simpson over here. I'm on my break, don't bother me. I say that like you aren't like only a couple years older than I am. I did type in elite speak. You also used IRC if I remember. Alright, we made it through that boss fight. Barely, only because I wanted to try muds. That's fair. I thought it was mud with 2Ds, though. Alright, we need to get a couple of other things leveled up here. Let's take some other stuff out with us so we can actually get some other stuff leveled here. So Yep Rock has got a bunch of levels on it. Let's see if we can get the Dead Tree some levels. Let's try and get Punchers some levels. Well, actually, we'll keep the Essence with us because the Essence is one of our better ones. Let's take these guys out and see if we can't get some levels here. Yeah, it was the primordial MMO things. The other mud was with 2Ds, right? It was the, like, rogue-style dungeon crawler stuff where it was, like, completely text-based. I had a coworker that played around with those. Oh, I don't even think we came over here. Hey, you. I'll let you in a little secret. They say that if you stay in the same location and catch a whole heap of fish, that it's very common that you might find a super rare colored fish. This stays between us. Yeah, we know that. That's the most common way to get your first shiny, is to just stand in one spot and fish. And just keep killing the thing you're fighting until you get, the thing you need. That is it! That shine in your eyes. You understand the beauty of fishing, don't you? Here, take this. We got the big net. This fishing net will allow you to catch those big suckers. Don't worry, I won't charge you anything for it. Now off with you. Much fishing awaits in your future. It's common to get a super rare. It makes getting a super rare very common, is what that means. Welcome to the rat pits. We don't have any fights going on at this moment, but if you want to raise a strong cat, remember that there are multiple ways to evolve a kitten. Oh, we can't go into the rat pits yet. Alright, Route 10. This is one of my favorite songs in RuneScape. Port Sarim Church, north to Port Sarim Graveyard. The other night I saw a drunk throwing things in the ocean. He was shouting something about mud skippers. I don't even know what a mud skipper is. Not many people visit our church out here. I don't think many people know of its existence. Did we need to heal at all? Or are we good? No, we're solid. Alright, let's leave Dead Tree out. We'll switch out if we need to. Got goobers to fight. Mud skippers are cool, fish that hang out in mud on land. Yeah, and in RuneScape, I don't think you can actually see living mud skippers, but you can get a mud skipper hat. And you get that by fighting mogres that live at Mud Skipper Point. That I guess hunt the mud skippers. Yeah, mud skippers are also the they're what the Mudkip line from Gen 3 is based on. That's what the mudfish Pokemon means. Me want to visit graves, but stupid humans won't let me. Goblin Windburster. What the hell is this guy's name? He's got a giant rat. We got a tree. That's a dark tip. We don't want the tree out for this. We want punchers for this. So it upped its chance to critically hit and then use a move that does a set amount of damage. Twice in a row. Fucking rat shaker. Shake. cannot undo. No matter how much you shake me, you cannot undo what you have done. Find it. Oh, that's a new looking spider. That is a new looking spider. Our Comet Punch missed. That's not good. Find her. You are the wife shaker. Oh, well, Punchers is down. That's not good. That's entirely counterintuitive to us trying to get experience points. Water gun? I think that's the deadly red spider, is what that one is. Another thing you want to throw shade at? What are you throwing shade at? People's choices for action genre? Yeah, that's been a little silly. That's an interesting looking giant rat. Okay. Maybe water gun then? The rat is definitely half dead. Some could say the rat is half alive. One that made me actually want to laser actually was Arctic Eggs. Looks so cool and would be good stream content, but it ain't a fucking action game. Yeah, I think people are taking the action genre a little too liberally. This is technically an action game. Me just want to see friend. Yo, our yak is evolving. What is our yak evolving into? It evolved into a lumber... Oh, I wonder if it evolved into a lumber yak because of the tree on our team. I wonder if it evolved into the lumberjack because we have Dead Tree on our team. Well, that's pretty cool. Honestly, I don't think that would be as crazy as you think. I think that's very much what a lot of these are going to be. Is a weird combination evolves like that, where you have to have certain monsters on your team. And then that gets other ones to evolve into other ones. It's very strong. Yaks specialized for carrying lumber to mills and crafters. They are okay. So looks like you can normally catch these up by the lumber yard near Varrock. Aromatherapy is pretty good. So it'll end up getting milk drink, which is pretty useful. Unlocking seed bomb would be pretty good. Seed bomb's pretty good. Horn leech we definitely want to get eventually. Wood hammer's also really good. And it can learn Mega Horn again later. They are okay. It's a living. Yeah, it's just any of the Tom and Jerry or Looney Tunes characters. Hey, it's a living. I wonder if that is you have to have the tree on your team gets it to evolve into the lumberjack like that. That's kind of neat. I'm pretty sure that's what the entling with the what the cabbage means, is you have to have the cabbage on your team with the entling to get it to evolve into something beyond what that's gonna be. Kind of like how to get Carablast and the other one and Shelmet to evolve, you have to trade them for each other. This is Goblin Road. Yeah, there's stuff like that. Like, one of my favorite ones is Inkay. To get Inkay to evolve into oh, what's the name of that thing? The squid. To get Inkay to evolve, though, you had to what you had to do is take the 3DS, and when it levels up to in a battle, you have to turn the 3DS upside down, and that's how you get Inkay to evolve. It utilized the gyro controls in the 3DS. The same thing. You do the same thing with the Switch. You have to physically. I had to physically take the Switch out of the holder and then flip the thing over to get it to evolve. That's how you get it to evolve into its into the other thing. How'd I know that? A friend told me that because they figured it out. There's a bunch of stuff like that in normal Pokemon that is like, how would you ever figure out how this works? There's a couple even in Gen 9 that I had my friend just tell me how to do it. How the hell do you figure that? I don't ask those questions. There are people out there. We've all of us have at some point been in a speedrunning community long enough to know that there are people who will literally try to ram their head into walls all the time because they might find something to make them go faster. So none of these weird things for people to figure out ever surprise me more. People can figure out how to find the DLC in Dark Souls 1 in like the primordial days of the internet without the game giving you any hints on exactly how to figure that out on your own. When you have enough bodies thrown at something to solve a problem, you will solve that problem. It can be solved with just enough people trying stupid things. Feet Stamper. And then Dead Tree. Yeah, I don't ask that question more as soon as I know the answer is bodies. Yeah, Pokemon is meant to be played as a collective group effort. That's why even from the first games, there were Pokemon you could only get by trading with other players. It's not meant to be a truly single-player game, and it never really was. It was always supposed to be this community thing. That's how the Mew rumor disseminated across the entire world without any form of the internet at the time. There weren't message boards to share that information on, but everybody knew in 1998, hey, did you guys hear? If you get strength before you go to the SSN, you have strength and surf, there's a truck. And if you use strength on the truck, you can get Mew. Everyone knew this. Everyone knew this. There was no internet then. This was just a thing it just spread all over the place. Everyone knew about it. But there was no internet then. How did everyone know about this? There were no GameFAQs, and I didn't have internet in 1998. GameFAQs didn't exist yet. Yeah, the personal home computer was not a common thing in the United States at the time. I think it was maybe like 1 in 1,000 homes had a home PC at the time, and less than that were it connected to the internet. Like, it was extremely uncommon until like into the middle of the turn of the century. So everyone knows about the those same three like children's songs you sang on the playground as a kid. Yeah, it's one of those things that it just spreads. I think we're in like really, really hot water here. Oh no, this might work. AOL was super popular, Gaunt. Most people I know couldn't afford it. I don't know if maybe like where you're from, like that was something like people could just regularly walk in and just own that. But like for us to own a home computer was like dad had it to do taxes on. That wasn't a toy. That wasn't something anyone got to touch. That was, this exists for dad's tax software. And it cost a shitload of money. Yeah, the Stingray, what I'm saying is back then a home PC was like $1,000. That's a shitload of money in 1999. What I'm saying is that most people could not afford cutting-edge technology at the time. It was not reasonable for normal people to afford that. My family could barely afford the roof over our heads. A computer was not something that was like easily gotten. I'm pretty sure my dad got his through work, and he probably stole it. Like, they probably snuck the thing out because they were going to get rid of it and then found out it wasn't broken. It's the same way like people do, oh, games, why are they raising the prices of video games? Motherfucker, video games were $70 back for the Super Nintendo. What are you talking about? Video game prices have largely not changed at all in like 30 fucking years. If anything, they went down. I remember when games for the Game Boy were like $30, $35. Brand new. Games for the GameCube were $50. I remember when the Xbox came out, and that's when games were like $60 now. And it was like, oh wow, games are a little bit more expensive. And even then, $50 was a lot of money. $50 is still a lot of money. My point I'm making is, yes, people had them, but they were wildly expensive. If you owned a fucking home computer growing up, you lived in an affluent family by standards of the living at the time. That's what I'm saying, is those were wildly expensive devices. I'm not saying people didn't have them. I'm saying most people couldn't afford it. I remember my dad getting horribly pissed at my grandparents because they bought me a Game Boy Color, and he was mad because he couldn't afford to do that. We had a computer that ran Windows 98, but like I said, it was not a toy. It was not something the kids were allowed to play with. It ran dad's tax software through his Juno email account. That was the only thing it was used for. Like, it was you touch this thing, I will break your hands, because it is horribly expensive. Let's see, I think I even remember what the hell it was. Let's see. I still remember what it was. It was a Dell PC. I can picture what this thing fucking looked like. I want historic data on like what this cost. I don't want to buy one now, but unfortunately Google is literally worthless in the year 2025. Let's see. So a computer typically at the time, which is wild to consider, would be about $1,400. in modern pricing, that would be like a $2,100 computer. Is the average price things cost back in the late 80s and early 90s. Those prices didn't go down. Yeah, for the one my dad had, it would have been almost $1,000 for that computer. So yeah, if you owned one of those things, you were the rich kid. You were the rich kid. And if you got to play PC games, you were a rich kid growing up. That's somehow you had vastly more money. I grew up actually poor. My dad has often told me the fact that we had a roof over our heads, he doesn't know how it works. And he's worked in banking for 40 years. He literally couldn't afford it. Mathematically, we should not have had that house. The numbers don't lie. Somehow, they were able to keep a roof over my house. With my mom not working, 2 kids, and he was the only income. Somehow, he made it work. So the fact that we had that computer has me go, someone either gave it to him, or it was acquired. I'm 31. I was born in 1993. So yeah, when people say like, oh, you could afford, yeah, we couldn't afford that. We didn't have that. I had a Game Boy Color because my grandparents bought it for me, much to the chagrin of my father, because he was furious, because all he ever wanted, he wanted to be the one that got it. It wasn't the fact that he didn't want me to have video games. He wanted to be the one that could do that. For him, it was a pride thing, and he knew he couldn't afford it. And he was pissed beyond all reason that my grandparents bought it for me, because that should have been his thing to do. And it's bothered him ever since that he couldn't afford it because he just didn't have the money. So yeah, I don't know how it is overseas. I can't talk about how things were over in the other parts of the world, but over here in the States, if you had a PC, you had money. You were definitely middle class. We were lower class, like most people were at the time. We were not a middle class family. You were at least upper middle class if you could afford a home computer that was used for like playing games and shit on. If it wasn't the this is dad's thing and you don't fucking touch dad's stuff because it's expensive and if it breaks I will kill you, you were upper middle class. You had a comfier lifestyle than I knew growing up. So yeah, don't tell me, oh, everyone had a computer. No, not everyone did. Not everyone did. We were okay. We did not have free money to go and just get whatever. Was it integrated graphics growing up? I remember the integrated graphics. Yeah, I remember when it would have been like 2004. My dad had got promoted at work finally. So we had like a little bit better money now. And that was when he bought a Windows 2000 Dell flat. It was all black, it had a flat screen. It was the first flat screen I had ever seen. Had a flat screen LCD monitor. And that was like, it was in 4:3 aspect ratio. It was the coolest thing. And that one, he had it through where we had accounts with, and my first email account was with MSN, and he had it set up so that we could use the internet. And that's when I was able to start playing RuneScape. I played RuneScape on that computer. That was the first time I got to play a PC game. It was the only PC game I had. And I remember because he had to turn off the McAfee security because it blocked RuneScape, because it used to play through a browser. It would flag RuneScape as a blocked site once the game changed over to having an active chat room. So I could only play Tutorial Island, and then it would stop me from being able to play the game. So then I made like 3 or 4 other accounts to then be able to keep playing, and then finally had the one that stayed my main that I've played to this day. Because I was like, Dad, can you turn off the security thing for the chat rooms? I can't play with my friends. I can't leave Tutorial Island because it's blocking the game. So he turned off the chat room blocker and was like, "You're only playing RuneScape then." I was like, "Yeah." And you're only playing with Chris and Austin, which are my two of my best friends who I still have to this day. Yeah, I'm only gonna play with Chris, and I only played with Chris and Austin on RuneScape. That was the only thing we did. I didn't touch a fucking thing else. The only other thing I'd go on was I'd go on Newgrounds and watch videos, but that wasn't blocked in the first place. Welcome back, Bino. I hope dinner was well for you and the doggos. You had your first ATI AGP card? Yeah, I don't have anything that old. My first graphics card for my first like personal PC was a 980 Ti. If you want a point of reference of when I finally had my first personal computer to where I could have my own games and shit on it and my own thing to do with it, a 980 was my first graphics card. I still have it. I keep it on the shelf over there actually because it was my first GPU and it's an EVGA. But it's been good, Bino. We got our ass kicked by Patty, but we eventually beat it. And now we are working our way through, and we got stuck in a tirade of a simple rant of, well, everybody had the internet and a home PC in the 90s. No, you fucking didn't. No, you didn't. You had that if you were wealthy. If your daddy made good money, you had a home PC. Yeah, EVGA made really good cards. Continuum. I have been Team Red. I'm on AMD hardware and everything now. I don't buy Nvidia anymore. After what they did to EVGA, no. I won't buy Nvidia cards. Nvidia cards could be leaps and bounds better than every single other graphics card on the market. I will still buy AMD. I will buy an Intel graphics card before I buy another Nvidia one. That's on sheer principle of it. Because EVGA had the gall to call them out on, you're selling fucking snake oil. You're selling snake oil and you're selling fucking dreams. We're not doing this. So Nvidia pulled the plug on their contract for graphics cards, and that's why EVGA stopped making cards. Is they had the gall to call out Nvidia's shitty practices and poor quality control. We'll say I'm aware that my parents made good money when I was a kid. Hey, as long as you're aware of it. I'll say when I was growing up, I didn't know we were poor. I didn't know how hard we actually had it until I was much older, because my dad made sure we didn't go without. He went without. My mom went without. Us kids never went without. I appreciate that a lot. I never take that for granted. But I had no idea growing up that we were actually like, the money was what we had, and we were very much paycheck to paycheck. What was there was what was there, and anything at any point could have thrown a wrench into it and caused untold mayhem. We were alright, but we weren't, like, well off. And I know and understand that now, to where I grow up and understand, like, hey, I know what I have, and I live within my means, but I don't even make good money. I make good money, but I don't make, like, comfortable money. I'm all right. I do well enough for myself. I don't have to worry about it. But like, if I ever had like a really rough bill, like I'd have to say goodbye to a lot of things because I wouldn't be able to afford stuff anymore. Kicking the fucking thing on the ground, and it's just one of the feet from my treadmill. I'm slowly unscrewing it because I keep fucking with it. Yeah, that shit just strikes a nerve because I know how hard my parents worked. Some people talk about, oh no, everyone had one. No, you didn't. Not everyone did. That shit does strike a bit of a nerve with me. I didn't have my first like personal computer till I was like 19, and I paid for it myself. That was after working for like a year to put the money away to buy my own computer. So like I still had one to play with. I still used, but I didn't get to do much on it. I got to play RuneScape, and then I had a shitty hand-me-down laptop that could... The only game it could run besides RuneScape was World of Warcraft. So, like, I have a Steam account, but if you check, I didn't have a Steam account and made one until 2011. Actually, I think it's either 2011 or 2012 the Steam account got made. Oh, that was me checking stuff earlier. Let's see. When did I make my account? 14 years of service. So yeah, it would have been 2011. I was a senior in high school when I finally was able to have my own Steam account. I know people in this chat that had Steam since its conception. Like 2005, they were playing fucking Half-Life and fucking Counter-Strike and everything. I didn't have those games growing up. Gravestone reads, died to seafood. Oh no. Bancho Despair. Or me best matey Polly passed away a few years ago. Feels like only yesterday. December 2004 for Half-Life 2. I was close. You hit 20 years last month. See, Continuum knows what I'm talking about. The shit ran so bad. Who played World of Warcraft back in 2004 and remembers how Classic actually played? Because Classic today does not play like Classic did on dial-up or who remembers the change from dial-up to DSL? Died to seafood at Disney. Oh my god, I forgot about that. The dies to seafood at Disney World. Holy shit. That's a fucking headline. Yeah, who played games that were online games back in the late 90s, early 2000s where it was on dial-up or heaven forbid DSL? Who remembers how, not even just on the internet connection alone, how bad those games played visually because the hardware just couldn't handle the shit? Who remembers that? I know if Cider was here, Cider remembers that. My buddy Jeremy remembers that because my buddy Jeremy played in beta. He remembers the beta for WoW. Yeah, there's... people have... I tell it... Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and I'm really, really glad I'm not a nostalgia addict. I'm really glad I'm not a nostalgia addict, because holy fuck, that has to be such an awful experience when the only games you can like are games you played when you were like 12, and you can only enjoy them if they play as shitty as they did back then. Like, and on one hand, it's cool that you can have that, like, really, like, genuine, like, love for something. But at the same time, it's like, bro, there are so many better things to do. Must be a little longer. The first online multiplayer game I had was TF2. Yeah, I had TF2 in 2010 as well, Bino. I still have, let's see. I don't think we can pull it up on this panel. Hang on. Let's see. I think I should be able to show it through this. My first Steam game, the whole reason I made my Steam account, was Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 is the reason I have a Steam account. It's still like my 4th most played game on Steam. Let's see if it grabs it. Oh, that's grabbing Discord. Here it is. Let's see. Because we don't even have to open the game to show this. There it is. Proof of purchase from another era. I remember when you had to pay for Team Fortress 2. It was $15. I remember having my first debit card and making my PayPal account so I could purchase the game through Steam. People thought, oh, you don't know. I remember. Do not cite the old magics to me, witch. I was there when they were written. Wow, I still have fucking name and description tags sitting. I remember when fucking loot boxes started. You ever want to find out who caused loot boxes? Why are loot boxes so bad? It's Valve. Valve did it. It was Valve. For all the good things they do with us in Steam, they are the ones that caused the horrid, vile, disgusting, rancid pox on video games that is loot boxes. They are the ones that did it. They started it with TF2 so that they could find out if it would work in... Why did it move this? They could find out if it was going to work in Counter-Strike. Yeah, I found out about TF2 through the orange box on my buddy's Xbox. He had the orange box for 360, and that's where I found out about TF2. And then I had friends that had home computers that played TF2 on PC and said, don't get it for Xbox, get it on Steam instead. And that's how I learned about Steam. The Vocaloid phase. Yeah, the Vocaloid phase. StarCraft, I remember StarCraft 1 running okay on PC. The only time I have ever played StarCraft 1 was at a friend's house on the Nintendo 64. PokeScape's initial estimated time of arrival. Leet AFK or 69. I went AFK for 5 minutes. When I came back, a goblin had PK'd me. Yeah, I've heard, from what I remember liking the game, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so I was young, I had no idea how to actually play the game. I'm sure, like, if I played it nowadays, like, that version's probably not very good. Hohenheim? Is this a Full Metal Alchemist reference? You know, you say that, but the Halo Wars games for the Xbox 360 are fantastic. If you've ever, I don't know if you've ever played Halo Wars, but those games play really well. RTS absolutely can be done well on console. It just needs to actually be made for a console. You can only select 12 units, and that was intended. Interesting. I wonder why. I would wager it's probably for balance reasons. That's, you know what that's a question for? That'd be like a question for Jeff Kaplan. Kaplan would know that answer. Why could you only select 12 units in StarCraft? And honestly, it's probably be something dumb if that's the most the engine would let us do without the engine falling apart. If we made it any higher than 12, the game engine just broke. It's probably the likely answer. Like, we don't know. Like, if we made the number bigger than 12, the game just exploded. We might be able to arrange something to fix that. Monk Hohenheim. He has a rabbit. "12 was better than Warcraft 2's 9. It's probably an engine limitation thing. That's probably why. Read this not too long ago in the Blizzard book. I think it was a skill thing. It also could have just been that they didn't know how to make the number bigger. You gotta remember that a lot of that was back in like the very early days of the company. Like, a lot of those people were brand new to making games and coding in general. Like, that was the we're gonna figure it out maybe era. That was still the era where like games ran on hopes and dreams mostly. There was not really a lot of like skillful development behind things. That's what made the fact that they were able to pull off with Iwata's help, getting both regions of Pokemon onto the Gold, Silver, and Crystal cartridges, because without the way Iwata figured out how to like adjust the programming, it would have never happened. And he did some dark wizardry and made it work. And that was just like, how did you do that? There are so many games that are like that if you weren't just figuring out and making the game. That's why there's so many games that exist. You can see it just watching Brad do the NES rankings. There's so many games that just feel like they copy and pasted source code because they literally did. There wasn't like a, oh, we'll just buy this game engine. It was, yo, did you got that cart of Doom? Yeah, go get it for me. Okay. And then they would just rip the Doom engine out and make another game with it. straight up weren't a Pokemon kid. I've met a few people, like Bone Storm has been playing Pokemon Fire Red for the first time. He's going on 40, and he never played Pokemon growing up. He just missed Pokemon completely and never played it. So he's like 40 years old playing Pokemon for the first time, which has been a fucking great time to see. Great time to see, but it's like some people just missed the boat on it. That's like how like I grew up in the 90s and my first FPS game was Halo 2 on the Xbox in like 2007. Sapphire was your first, but Pokemon Gold was so good. Honestly, a lot of those still hold up pretty well. They definitely mechanically function a lot more simplistically, and in some ways more complex because they were not well made. But I played through Pokemon Red, and I was able to go through and catch every Pokemon on the anniversary DS when the 20th anniversary came around. And I had a blast doing it. It was a great like little was it a good video game? Like no, Pokemon Red and Blue are bad video games. They're bad RPGs, and they're not well put together video games in general. But I had a great time with it. Like, it's still a fun video game. It doesn't need to be a good video game to be a fun video game. And I think a lot of people miss that mark in modern discussion points and modern topic writing for game is bad, so must be bad. Like, that's not necessarily true. A bad game can still be a fun game. A bad game that is a bad game is actually very few and far between. But like, what made Pokemon Red and Blue, and by contrast, Yellow being the better version of them, was Yellow actually tied together a cohesive storytelling through the game, and it's why that's the game that all of the Kanto remakes are based on. It's why Heart Gold and Soul Silver are based on Crystal, was because it actually had a definitive storytelling through it, because they had the time to do that when they weren't wound up on how the fuck do we get both regions to fit on this game so we can ship this game. Yeah, this is exactly my kind of garbage. Isn't an opinion you see many people say is the best way to put that. Me, I'm like, yo, give me the garbage. Yes, more garbage. But that's the big thing is Red and Blue were built and the storytelling was implemented with the help of the person who did Earthbound. Everyone talks about how amazing the game Earthbound is. Earthbound's storytelling and the way the game is presented is an extremely niche franchise. It's a niche franchise. Everyone knows Earthbound. Everyone wants to play Earthbound. The people who actually like Earthbound are very small in number. There's just, you hear them because they're loud. It's like the people who love Dark Souls. Dark Souls is an interesting franchise. Is Dark Souls really like this big, reaching, everyone loves it? I think people love the franchise for a lot of different reasons, and I don't think it's always playing it. Same reason why, like, Earthbound's got a really dark and weird and wild storytelling that doesn't make a whole lot of sense and is very strange and esoteric. Most people are gonna like the way the game plays mechanically, and no one can tell you what the fuck happens in that story because no one has any idea what happens in that story because it's nonsense. It's a fever dream. Miyazaki would even go, what? That's why, like, and you ask anyone, what's the story in Dark Souls? I don't know, go watch VaatiVidya. VaatiVidya knows what the story is in this game, kind of. And a lot of times he guesses. No one actually can tell you anything about the story in Dark Souls because it's nonsense. It's why it's funny when I see people say it's an action RPG. I was like, no, it's an action game. I wouldn't call it an RPG. You play a role in, like, the most loose use of the term role-playing that you can possibly use. I have no idea what typing a unicorn's gonna be. Carved its respect because it came out at a time where games were 90% hand-holding and not even hard, were dog shit easy and boring. I don't think you have any idea how games were back then. Dark Souls came out in an era right after the fact that they released God of War 3, and God of War's Titan modes were the most unbalanced bullshit difficulty because no one understood how to make difficulty more than, what if we just made it really bullshit and then players will like it? Games had two modes. They were either Games you could enjoy and play, or games that were made to be bullshit because devs to this day still don't understand difficulty. If you can find a game that actually understands difficulty, it's a fucking gem. It's a diamond in the fucking coal mines. But to call the games handholdy? Tell me you like broken, shitty games from the Super Nintendo era without telling me you like broken, shitty games from the Super Nintendo era. Games back in the day were not hard because they were made well and were challenging aspects. They were hard because they were poorly made garbage that no one understood how to actually balance or code mechanics in. Dark Souls' intent was to be difficult, and that's why it was successful with it, is because it makes a good difficulty. If the hard games were easy and boring for you, congratulations, you're good at video games. You're just ahead of the curve, and there's not really anything else. Pat yourself on the back. You've got a giant penis and massive balls, and everybody loves you. Your balls are huge, your meat is massive, and everyone loves you because you're the Giga Chad.
Without further interruption, let's celebrate and suck some dick.
Waffle irony. Speak of the devil. Thank you for triggering the brand new Prime Gaming alert for your 6-month resub. I did have to change it off the Bo Burnham thing because I kept getting parts of the VODs muted. So that's the new Prime resub. That's the new Prime resub. It's using disarming voice. Maybe it's fairy type? I don't think punchers would be good here. Maybe the lumberjack. It is fairy type, okay. I'm in this fight forever because you guys keep distracting me with fucking good stream content. Fair enough. That's the joke. Oh, you prefer to live? That too is an option. Our tree is evolving. What is our dead tree gonna evolve into? Deadest tree? The evil tree? What the hell? Oh, our dead tree evolved into compost? Then I spent an hour thinking my monitor was broken because an HDMI cable was half plugged in. That's all I have to say on that one, Waffles. Ugh. It's the worst. You know, death runes make certain monsters evolve. Do you think there are life runes too? Really makes you think. I think there's time runes are the new ones being added in RuneScape 3 at the rune crafting update. Well, at least you figured out that the monitor isn't broken. I want to learn about compost. I didn't expect the dead tree to evolve into compost, though. That's pretty cool. Dude, this thing's really strong. Yeah, we've been talking about all kinds of random nonsense today. Oh, it's not ground type anymore. It's not ghost type anymore. It's grass and ground type now. Some proclaim that if you don't clean up your compost, it will turn into a compost mound. Oh, I wonder if it has, which ability it has. Like, it's a lot of poison type attacks, which is pretty cool. Interesting. It does have seed sour, okay. How's our egg coming along? Not sure yet on that one. What are some new Pokemon that show up here? What new monsters we got? What is this? It's a balloon. It knows fly? I wonder if fly is still a field move. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So Seed Sour makes grassy terrain trigger on hit. That's kind of neat. We really need a monster that has a false swipe. I'm honestly like talking about games that have changed over the course of their games coming out. I wonder how many like old heads for Monster Hunter are gonna hate the new one because it's not anywhere near as sticky with the committal attacks, because they've added the action dodge system now where you just basically can become just untouchable. And your movement's so much heavier. I'm sure there's gonna be people that are gonna complain about it. I'd actually be surprised if there's not, now I'm thinking about it. This thing's ice and flying type? What the hell? A small bird often found amongst docks. They tend to clean harbors of food scraps otherwise left unattended. I'm genuinely excited for... I'm genuinely excited for the new Monster Hunter, which is funny because I really didn't like the previous two Monster Hunters. It's got ice in those veins. Yeah, seagulls are pure evil. I think it comes... The new Monster comes out, what, next month, right? Yeah, I really didn't like World. And that's despite being very stubborn and putting a lot of time into World. I really didn't like it. And then being stubborn again and playing through all of Rise, to the point that I felt really bad that my friends bought me the DLC so I could play with them, and then I did 2 fights and went, dude, I really don't want to play this game, this sucks. Yeah, I played the demo for Wilds and was like, alright, I'll play the demo, it's no commitment, it's not going to cost me any money. And I was like, alright, this is actually sick. All of these changes are like everything that would have been on my list of this is what needs to be changed to make this game actually fun to play and not fucking miserable to play. They changed and then some. Like they just made the game good. The licking monsters. A cute little pupper that would die for you. Whenever you leave home, it will stay by your door until you come back. We have to name the puppy. Yeah, I don't remember when Wilds comes out. Let's take a look here, actually. When the hell does this game release? Because I know I want to play it when it comes out. I know there's like a demo or something soon. Oh, it's on the 28th, so it's at the end of the month is when this comes out. Anything else here besides the puppy and the balloon that we saw? And the seagull? So yeah, depending on where we are with what we're actively playing at the time, we'll see about when we're grabbing it. What day is the 28th? Is that like a weekend at least, or is that like? I guess I have to open up Outlook to have a fucking calendar on Windows now because they destroyed the calendar app for some stupid reason. It's a Friday. Oh, then that makes that. Yeah, if we're done with the games we have going at the time, then. No, we're not opening this. Get it out of here now. Yeah, if it's on a Friday, then. Benchmark is up for download the Steam page. I don't care about the benchmark. It's gonna be. I already know my computer can run it, so I don't have to worry about it. Be deep into Pirate Yakuza by then. Oh, the Majima game comes out on the 20th. Yeah, it'll be dependent on when I pick it up. Will be what we're doing with Pokemon month, because I want to do the Pokemon month stuff. That takes the Pokemon month stuff takes priority. So depending on if we're finished with this or whatever the next hack is after this one, or the next regular Pokemon game, if I want to play one of the regular Pokemon games, that'll be the priority. Cerebrum. So if you don't know, there's a whole lore point of why this is the case, but all of the White Knights of Falador, all of their names are puns. Every single one of their names are puns. There's lore implications of why. There's a Pokemon-like mini-game in the most recent Yakuza game. I've heard about that, yeah. So every single knight we run into is going to be some kind of pun. So see if you can catch what each one of them are. We know this one is Cerebrum. Go no further, adventurer. Ghastly, smelly worm monsters have been attacking folks around this area. We've been dispatched here to secure the area for the time being. Oh, so that's where the Queen Black Dragon is. That's the Grotworm Cave. But it doesn't look like we can get in there because it's probably not finished. We found a S sandwich, which is a square sandwich. Does that do anything? Heals a small amount and raises defense when eaten in battle. All my monsters fainted. I need to recover for a bit. Oh, these guys are just aren't named. Disgusting. I have worm juice all over my shiny new armor. I wonder if we can catch a Grotworm here or not, or if we can get into the Grotworm cave. Do we need to heal before we go south? No, we're good.